Yes, indeed. Boys back on the next-gen Madden. Uh-oh. You already know what that means, folks. What you're watching here is just a quick matchup of this week's Sunday night game. For some reason, this game isn't going to be flexed out. I don't know why. They managed to flex out my Falcons the other night, and that was actually a pretty damn good game. But anyway, not to get off topic. What I'm also trying to do here is find a new team to play with in Madden. I've never played with the Bengals. They have a couple of weapons that are a little intriguing to me. One being AJ Green. Obviously, I love my wide receivers because I throw the ball a lot. For anybody who's ever seen my videos, I mean, you can already tell I've already thrown the ball twice here in the opening possession. So I throw the ball quite a lot, like to spread around. Also, they have a pretty decent running back. The back on the field at the moment is Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, a.k.a. the law firm. But I sub him out a little bit later in the game for Giovanni Bernard, just because he's a more complete, more of a dynamic type of back, if you ask me. So as you can see, I got Bernard in the field right now. I don't really do too well in the run game here, as I make one guy miss, but just get swallowed up by the tacklers. But back to the wideout threats. Other than AJ Green, there's really not too much to be excited about. I mean, to be honest with you, they have a couple good tight ends in Gresham and Eifert. But in the passing game, just in my play style in Madden, I rarely utilize tight ends. So occasionally there is a couple times where I'll line up a tight end, as in the play here, send a tight end right up the seam. But on the majority of my passing plays, I like hitting the guys outside, the guys that can stretch the field, make a 5-yard catch and turn it into 25 yards. I mean, that's just more of my play style. Now, defensively, they're really not that bad. I think as of this video, they're ranked top 10 in both categories, passing defense and rushing defense. So that's definitely not bad at all. I mean, that's quite good, to be honest with you. And sure, I know some of you might say that, oh, they're in the AFC North. They don't really play against anybody, this and that and the third, and that's a weak division. But they really don't have any control over who they line up against every week. So if they happen to match up against a struggling Cleveland Browns team twice a year, or a so-so Baltimore Ravens team twice a year, that's not on them. But anyway, I'm kind of besides myself. I think the thing that I probably like the most is their D-line. Actually, more specifically, their D-ends. They have two really good, in my opinion, D-ends in Dunlap and Johnson. Both of these guys can get in the backfield and wreak havoc if given the opportunity. So as of today, I think the Bengals were ranked overall 86. Don't quote me on that. But 86 overall is pretty solid. But we all know that it really doesn't matter too much as far as the ranking goes. How many times have you matched up against somebody that had a lesser ranked team and have been in a dogfight, a legit dogfight? It all comes down to what team you're comfortable with playing with. And for me, the deal breaker with this squad is the quarterback and the lack of a number 2 and a speedy slot receiver. Some might say that that's asking for a little bit too much, and maybe it is. But for me to feel comfortable playing Madden, especially competitively, I need to know that when my quarterback drops back and looks downfield, that if my primary wide receiver is covered, I can go through my progressions, look across the field, and have a really good chance of finding another wide open receiver, whether that be the number 2 receiver, the slot receiver, or hell, even a tight end to dump off to. With the Bengals, I feel a little trapped. I feel a little bit one-dimensional. And I don't know if that's really just due to the fact that I don't have much experience with this team. But as you can see, I've gone to AJ Green quite a lot. The reason being is AJ Green seems to always be open. If teams want to key up and just take out AJ Green, then what am I forced to do? Start running screen plays, dump off to my tight ends. Now, shout out to Gresham. Gresham is solid in this game for me, so I won't even lie. So it's pretty much Gresham and Green this entire game. But for me, that's not even close to being enough. I need way more weapons than that. So the last thing I want to touch on this topic before I move on to something else is Andy Dalton. 2nd round draft pick from TCU. Basically, in my opinion, got drafted to be a stopgap while the Bengals sorted through the whole Carson Palmer nonsense, but just so happened to pan out to be a pretty decent quarterback, so the Bengals got lucky with that one. But as far as Madden, he's a fairly mobile quarterback with pretty decent accuracy in intermediate routes. Not too sure what his overall ranking and what his overall attributes are, but there were a couple of times where his arm strength seemed to be fairly decent. And then there were some other times where it seemed like the ball took forever to get there when I was throwing it to my wide receivers. Now, mind you, that could have been user error, could have been a lack of touch or trajectory on the pass. Nice pickoff by Kirkpatrick right there, though. Give me that. But anyway, it just really felt like something was missing when I was throwing passes with Dalton this game. Even though he managed to have a fairly decent and productive day. I mean, look at the accuracy on that pass. Just threw it in a tight window, bringing up a 1st and goal, back in the shotgun, sets up the screen. And my offensive lineman just decided that he forgot how to block on that particular play, because that should have been a touchdown. I had 3 linemen in front of 1 guy to block. But then again, see, that's the pass that I was talking about in particular. Tomlin is pissed. But if you look at that play again, you'll see that there was a ridiculous amount of anticipation used to complete that pass. I was not able to rifle that in there like I really would have liked to. And that's I don't want to say it's a complete deal breaker, but it's a concern of mine if I'm a quarterback and I just so happen to make a read late. Like, every single pass that I make in this game can't be on time. I need to have the confidence in my quarterback's arm, knowing that if I do happen to make a read late, that I can always come back and just gun it in there if needed. So that's the point that I'm trying to make here with Andy Dalton. I didn't really feel like I had that comfort level with him in this game to do that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my little analysis of the Bengals and why I really can't see myself playing with them competitively moving on. I will say this, though. They might be 1 draft away, folks, from really doing something special in this league. They are not terrible. They are pretty damn good, to be honest. So, yo, after this draft, we'll see what they look like on Madden 26 or Madden, whatever they call it next year. We will see. Maybe I have to readdress this entire situation, but as of right now, I don't see myself playing with them. And it has nothing to do with those hideous uniforms, by the way. Man. But anyway, I suppose I could actually do some commentary on the actual game that I'm playing here, right? As I hold the Pittsburgh Steelers to a field goal try. 21-9, 3rd quarter. And I did kind of edit this just for the sake of moving this thing along. I don't really think that I need to show every single play that happens in the game. You know, just kind of keeping it going at a pretty decent pace. And that was a nice-ass pass right there. I will not lie to you. That was a pretty accurate, nice pass downfield by Dalton, making me eat my words on knocking him earlier. And again, coming back with another nice pass. But on that particular pass, I had to throw that with great anticipation. Like, I really had to let that go as soon as I saw the wide receiver get the release. Otherwise, in my opinion, there's no way that pass would have gotten there. It probably been picked off. Dude would have been running back the other way right now. Instead of me being in the red zone, he'd probably be scoring a touchdown. And on that one, that ball took forever to get there as Green just caught it on the slant. So anyway, enough of my bashing of the Bengals. I'm sorry for you Bengals fans out there. My apologies. It's just not my squad. You know, I don't see myself running with them. But give me that pick. Give me that pick right there, baby. That's 2 picks on the day for the defense. Play action pass, Dalton. And that's the prime example of what I'm talking about. Not trying to bash Dalton, but you get my point there. That should have been a touchdown. There's no way that ball should have sailed in the air as long as it did. Good catch by Gresham right there over the middle. And this was a busted play all the way. I honestly thought it was a running play when I called it, but it ended up being play action. That's just one of those times where you're just in the right place at the right time. You just happen to see what's happening downfield. As A.J. Green should have scored a touchdown right there. Beat the press coverage on the outside, had a nice release. And then Dalton right there finds Gresham in the back of the end zone. That's money in the bank. We're up 35-9. This game has been over for a long time. But apparently the Steelers weren't done playing yet. Big Ben connects with Bell on the outside. Gets a nice gain right there on the pickup. Trying to move the chains, rush everybody back to the line of scrimmage. Big Ben back in the shotgun. Spreading the field 4 wide. Has all day to throw. And chucks up a prayer. And somehow his man catches the ball for a touchdown. And Mike Tomlin is looking so sad right now, just shaking his head. He couldn't interfere with a kickoff return this game, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, folks, looks like it's that time again. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.